Welcome to the Take It Home podcast. I am your host, Cletus Farmer. With me today and hopefully forever, Paul Zartman.
I hope.
That's right. How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
A little sore. Wanted to be able to go to both the FWF and the RCW show last night, but couldn't stand up. 8 years in the business, that'll do that to you. When you got some bulging disc issues, you have days where you just can't stand up. So unfortunately, yesterday was one of those days for me. You were in attendance at FWF. For those that don't know, Paul Zartman is also known as Rip Ryerson Jr. Or did we
Yes.
drop the junior?
No, we're still Rip Ryerson Jr.
Right. I do like, and this is a little spoiler, I like the fact that Alexander mentioned your father in the promo.
Yes.
Yeah, that made me pop a little bit. So what we plan to do on this podcast, for anybody that might be wondering, is basically review any of the local Northern Indiana promotions, shows from the weekends, promotions like FWF, RCW, Pro Wrestling King, EHF. I would say GLWA, but technically they're Michigan, if I remember correctly. So,
I think they're based out of Michigan, and they just come down this way.
So maybe if we get enough of an outcry for stuff like that, or even what the Street Works Forum. I want to say it's AWE.
Yes,
Yeah.
AWE.
Not to be confused with AEW.
Right.
We do plan to review AEW and WWE as well, but as I was just telling Paul before we hit record, I don't have cable TV, so I have to figure out exactly how I'm going to watch these things.
Yeah, we'll get it figured out.
So basically, this is our first episode, so Paul was in attendance at FWF last night, so we are going to talk about FWF. And then from there, it's going to be a short one, just simply because we're just diving in head first, getting our feet wet here. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Paul, anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you've pretty much covered it. Give us your feedback. Let us know if there's something you want us to cover. If you don't think we covered something well enough, let us know. And Mike, Cletus, you put it out on the social media the other day. We are looking for people to help us grow this. So if you're going to a show, let us know the results of that show. We'll talk about them, and we look forward to covering the indies that don't get enough coverage.
Yeah, that's right. Since you already did it there, let's go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Yes, Cletus Farmer is my gimmick. I would love to say that I was born Cletus Farmer, but I was not. I was born Mike Hetler. As I was telling Paul before we started recording, I can't do videos as Mike. I can't. 8 years, every time a camera was in front of me, I was Cletus Farmer. It becomes natural to be Cletus Farmer, and you don't have your own identity anymore. You're somebody else. So whether he calls me Cletus or he calls me Mike does not matter. I'm sure I'll slip and call him something other than Paul or Rip Ryerson Jr. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyways, down to business.
Let's get down.
What were numbers like last night?
Well, there are plenty of people there. It's actually one of the bigger shows that I've seen in January, and that's just because it is cold out and not a lot of people want to go out. It's not because the product isn't good. It's just it's cold. You got to take that into consideration. A lot of these indie shows, they do events wherever they can get some space, and the FWF is at the CCAC. It does have some indoor heating, but it still gets a little chilly in there.
Yes, it does.
We had I would say almost a complete sellout, probably closer to 200 people.
Okay. Yeah. January usually, speaking from experience, January usually is a pretty good month because, Brian Johnson, I don't really know how to word it where it doesn't sound like I'm taking a shot, because I'm not. I admire his drive. I sometimes feel that he's crazy running, as many shows as he runs per year, but he does do the smart thing. He runs one show in December, and he always makes sure it's before Christmas. That way, when January comes around, everybody's like, I need that fix. They're hitting the vein. I need that fix. So his New Year's Funk usually does pretty well as far as a draw. What was the card like?
It was a pretty solid card. Some last minute changes. Cards always subject to change. Saw a little bit of that with some accidental double bookings. One gentleman was unable to attend.
You can't do one gentleman. Let's call him out here.
I'm getting there. Shady was in an accident on his way to the show. He is fine, but he was not able to make it to the show last night due to that accident. So some quick changes there with that.
Let me pause you right there. So I did see his Facebook post, and Shady, I'm glad you're good. Sorry it was a deer, but could have been a lot worse, man. Just remember back to a few years ago when you had that really bad accident. So 2023 may not be starting off the way you want it to be, but it could have been a lot worse, man. So, thankfully it was just your car and not yourself.
Absolutely. And again, it's just the start of 2023, so there's still plenty of time left. I'm sure we'll see Shady soon in FWF.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, pretty solid card. Started out hot. We saw Saucy Boy Josh Morris take on Haas Huxley. Haas's first official match back in singles competition after a small hiatus due to family growth. And he's back. The crowd popped. They did not forget that Haas is boss. That is for sure.
Yeah, Haas is boss without his hair, though.
Yeah, the haircut kind of threw me off the first time I looked at him. I went, "Whoa, new guy here. Hey, how you doing?" Oh, it's Haas. Oh, okay. But the fans definitely got behind him. He's got some new gear, looking good.
Has he got that Congo Kong gear?
He's got that Congo Kong gear.
Shout out to Kong, my wrestling papa.
Yes, he's everybody's wrestling papa.
Oh yeah.
And Haas comes away with the victory.
Nice.
I was very glad to see that. Always good to come back with a victory. Okay. You never want to come back and lose.
So you're glossing over one big thing. I know I shared my screen with you, so I'm circling something on my screen.
Yes.
How can you give me a match recap and not tell me what the finish was, sir?
Because I was not there to see the finish. That is because I was involved in this second match on the card. So I did not catch what took us home. I'm sure it was a heck of a move, and I apologize for not having that.
No worries. That's just further proves our point that we do need reporters. So please hit me up. It's bookcletus@gmail.com. Put Take It Home Podcast in the subject line. I wish to say I could pay you, but until I hit that lottery, no, this is just going to be you love the business and you want to help out. We, may also explore the possibilities of adding a third person to this podcast. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So what was match number 2, Paul?
Match number 2 was Scott Alexander and Rip Ryerson Jr. taking on Ryan Paradise. A little bit of a change for Ryan Paradise in 2023.
Excuse me.
Lindsay was not ringside.
What?
Yeah, Lindsay was not ringside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she was at their table, and that is where she stayed for the entire match.
Okay. So that...
Yeah.
Huh. So... You heard his holiday rap, right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he got a little edgier there at the end of 2022.
Yes, yeah. And we definitely saw that in this match. Started out hot with Paradise. He is not happy that Rip Ryerson Jr. owes him money. Which is not the case. We're going to have to get some lawyers involved in this because we were contracted to take a mask off of El Hostess, which is what we did. just because it didn't reveal his identity doesn't mean we shouldn't get paid.
Technicality.
But yeah, Ryan Paradise gets counted out because he is pummeling Scott Alexander in the corner. Ref counts to 5. Paradise won't stop. Ref rings the bell. Alexander wins via disqualification.
Okay, you kind of threw me there when you said counted out in the corner. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, so he got the 5 count in the corner. Okay.
Yeah, he got the 5 count in the corner because he was not having any of Alexander's crap. Rip Ryerson Jr. and Paradise exchanged some words there in the ring. He hits a splash on Alexander after the match. And Paradise is still saying, "You owe me money." Rip Ryerson Jr. kept saying, "Hey, look, the funds have already been distributed. It's not my fault that, we took the mask off. It didn't reveal who it was. You still owe us money." Turns out the funds were in Alexander's right pocket.
Oh, nice.
So Paradise has his funds back. I don't think there's anything left on there. From what I hear, Rip Ryerson Jr. distributed those funds 50-50 between Rip Ryerson Jr. and Fireball. So we'll have to see the outcome of that.
Okay.
But Alexander got reprimanded in the ring by Rip, and Rip kind of left him there. He didn't help him back to the back like he normally does.
Okay, so I did notice in some of the photos I saw on Facebook, could Alexander possibly spend some of that money on that Congo Kong gear?
I think there was a couple bucks distributed to Alexander, and I think that's where those funds went, which is good because he definitely needed some new gear.
Well, not to get us off topic here, but from the pictures I saw on Facebook, the Juggernaut or the gear by Juggernaut or whatever, I'm sorry, Steve, I don't remember what your gear line is called, was well represented last night. I think I saw 4 different people post pictures with new gear. So
yes, yeah, everybody's starting off 2023 with new gear, all made by Congo Kong.
Nice. Okay, what was match number 3?
Match number 3 was a tag team match. We saw Scotty Forever Young team up with Dustin Mack to take on Legendary. This was, again, not a match I caught the end of, but Legendary did go over.
Okay, so I know every show has that card subject to change because, to my knowledge, this was supposed to have been Scotty Young versus Donnie Gunner.
Yes, it was. There was another change that involved Nerd not being able to be there, who was originally scheduled with Dustin Mack. So Scotty stepped up and took his place in that tag team match so that Legendary could still have their match.
Okay. I don't pull punches with people. Where was Gunner?
I have no clue.
Okay, so Gunner didn't make an appearance.
No, he did not. I was not aware until the card was shown that he was not going to be there. Preacher Dave was in attendance. He bounced around the front row in a couple different spots. So he hung out for most of the show, but no Donnie.
Okay. Well, given the talent that was in the ring with, Alexander S. Kirk, Matt O'Hare, Dustin Mack, yeah. I love you, Dustin, but and of course, Uncle Scotty. Scotty does know. That had to have been a good match. So
it was a solid match. The crowd really got into it. So everybody was kung fu fighting, and that's all that matters.
There you go. Well, what was next on the card?
Up next on the card was another tag team match. We saw Idle Hans and Nate Cobain versus Isaiah Moore and Darren Fly.
Are you trying to get beat up? What? Idle Hans?
Oh,
Ketchup's gonna kick your butt.
Yeah.
Ketchup's gonna kick your butt.
Yeah.
That's the best part about being retired is I can sit in the crowd and just, heckle these guys, and they wanna come out and do something, but they're not going to.
No. This was a solid tag team match. I enjoyed this. I'll admit it. I'm not a huge tag team guy. I enjoy a good tag team match, but I'm not. You have those guys who follow tag team matches, and all they want to watch is tag team matches. And I enjoy a good couple tag team matches. I think we should always see a couple tag team matches, but I'm not necessarily going to go just because of a tag team match unless I really enjoy a certain tag team. But I always enjoy watching the human highlight reel, Isaiah Moore, and him and Darren Fly delivered again last night. Um, as I was running sound and getting everything ready for the end of the match, I blinked, and you can't blink with Isaiah Moore
Correct.
because Isaiah hit a great move, got the pin, and took the match
I
home.
believe, was it like the step up Inseguri type deal? Okay,
Yeah.
I want to say he calls that the snapshot,
Okay.
but I could be wrong. Isaiah, if you're watching, I hope you're watching. Love you, buddy. Correct me. So former tag team partners Twist and Flip were opposed to each other here.
Yes, they were. They actually talked a little bit about this, that they are a good tag team, but Darren is much more of a baby face.
Yeah. I like them as a team. I do.
I do too.
And this is not meant to be derogatory at all, but the shorter one of the two, I believe, is Nate. Is that? Yeah.
Yes.
I see him definitely more heel than babyface. Like, definitely. Just the mannerisms. He has that slappable face. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to slap you. Like, whereas the other one, and again, not meant to be disrespectful, but he just got that little puppy dog face. You don't want to walk up and slap him. So, so that was the tag team match. I'm assuming intermission.
Intermission was up next.
Okay, and then after intermission,
we were set. Originally was going to be Shady versus Underdog, Damian Easterday versus Russ Jones. But since Shady was not there, we got a one-on-one match with Damian Easterday and Russ Jones. Russ Jones came into this thing hot. Every time Easterday tried to get some offense in, it was just shut down by the powerhouse.
Oh yeah, I've been in the ring with Russ several times now, and not to put a bad taste in anybody's mouth, but if you've been hit by Russ, like, whew, yeah, it wakes you up. That first shot, you're screwed. You're in for the long haul, and if Russ wants you to go somewhere, you're gonna go there. Like, he picks you up and throws you where he wants to go. I had a match with him. Ironically, I believe it was a New Year's Funk at the CCAC, probably 6 years ago. It was either a New Year's Funk or a Funkomania, and he gave me a belly to back, and like, it was just there you go. Like, I went there. There was no stopping it. Like, if I wanted to stop him, I couldn't. So
yeah. He walks away with the victory. The last minute and a half of this match was very, very confusing due to some officiating issues that were going on. I want to say it was a power bomb or a clothesline that took this thing home, but it was definitely a power show from Russ Jones.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. Ryan Epic. I'm gonna go on a little sidetrack here. Ryan Epic and I and my wife were at a show. I want to say it was RCW at the Battelle Center, and Russ was in the ring, and Epic just goes, "Hit him with the razzle dazzle." Ooh, ooh. So now, unfortunately, anytime I see Russ, that's the first thing that pops into my head is hit him with the razzle dazzle. So I could watch Russ matches, like, not all day, but for a good portion of it. But I want to see, like, I know he's up in AAW in Chicago, like, he's doing a lot of work up there. I want to see him on Dynamite. I want to see him on Rampage. Like, I don't want to see him in WWE right now.
No.
I know they say Impact is the land of misfit toys, but I think Russ, pardon the pun, could make a big impact.
Yeah.
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 That's just my opinion. Next match.
Next match, continuing the feud between Eric Surge and Congo Kong. Surge comes out, gets into the ring pretty confident, telling fans to shut up, as he always does. And as soon as Kong starts making his way to the ring, Surge dipsets out of the ring, runs around. Chicken Dance shows up. Surge says, if we can stop the chicken song, I'll get back into the ring. So the song stops. He's still hesitant to get back into the ring. Finally does. These two get things started. Towards the end of the match, uh, Nate makes a return. Had to stop and think who came out. Nate makes a return to try to help Surge. I think he was thrown out there because Surge went to the back,
Okay.
looking for the count out. Nate comes running out. We see an appearance from CFR, who drops Nate. They fight their way to the back, and Surge comes in from behind, drops Kong, and picks up the victory.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Hit a devastating clothesline on him to drop him. It was definitely not how I saw this thing going.
Yeah. So I had words with Surge. I like his clothesline. Don't get me wrong, but I did it better. In my opinion.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Okay. I started out as a Cletus Farmer fan. I've seen Cletus in PWK and I've seen Cletus in FWF before I started. So yeah, I kind of like your clothesline better, and that's not being biased. It's not being biased.
Yeah, I mean, you can be a little biased. It's fine. So Eric Surge gets the victory over Congo Kong. Was there any afterbirth on this one? Looked like is it going to continue on?
Well, our ring announcer, Ryan Anderson, made his way over to the owner, Brian Johnson, and said if the fans want to see a rematch between these two, send messages to FWF. Let them know you want to see this thing again. These two go at it again, and he'll make it happen. So I think we'll see it in the near future.
You know what I don't think we're going to see in the near future? Any more chairs being replaced?
Oh, yeah, there was throughout this match there were a lot of chairs.
Yeah, I saw a
ketchup involved. This was all during the match. This wasn't even post-match. Nice. Ref Josh tried to do his best to get both of these men back into the ring, but you and I both know when Kong's got his mindset on something, he does it. He does not care what that ref is telling him.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, these.
So I want to share this, but at the same time I don't. I don't know how inside baseball we want to go with this.
Okay.
Oh man. I'd say probably 5 years ago, there was an incident where, ironically, it was one of Kong's matches, and things didn't go exactly as they were supposed to, and another referee came into the ring, unscripted. Chairs were thrown. It was. For the boys in the back, it was hilarious. Unfortunately for the referee, it might have been a little painful, but just proves that point when you're not supposed to be somewhere, don't be there.
Yeah, I've taken a chair shot from Kong before. You don't want that.
No, and it wasn't even an actual chair shot. Like the chair was thrown across the ring.
Oh, that's even worse.
Like there's no, yeah. So, I'm assuming main event was
Brandon Day versus Drew Skills for the FWF Championship.
Is that where we're at on the card?
That is where we are at on the card. Again, with the card subject to change rule, we went from 9 scheduled matches originally down to 7 to accommodate those changes. Um, a solid match. Drew Skills, as usual, takes his time getting into the ring. As usual, the gentleman ringside in the wheelchair got taken outside.
Of course, of course.
Of course, yeah. He gets brought back in pretty quickly, though. Brandon Day makes his way down. These two have an exchange in the ring on the microphone. Poor Ryan Anderson kept getting called into the ring by Drew, and as soon as he'd get in there, get out of here! I don't want you. So
yeah, I did. Yeah. I did see Ryan posted on Facebook last night that he was bullied by Drew Skills, and
he was.
There was a point at one point in time where I'm not afraid to say this. I had a reputation of being a locker room bully. At least
you.
That's what Drew said. So who's the bully now, Drew? But so how was the match? Like, good match or?
Solid match between these two. I enjoy watching both of these gentlemen work anytime they're in the ring. So seeing them work together was great. As we get to the close of the match, Drew headbutts ref Josh out of the blue for no apparent reason whatsoever, apart from maybe Drew knew he was getting ready to lose, and if there was no ref, he'd be fine. Which is what happens because Brandon locks in a submission move. Drew taps out quickly. At this point, ref Dave comes rushing down to the ring. Brandon and Dave kind of exchange some words because Brandon's saying, hey, he tapped out. I should, win this match. Dave says, no, I didn't see anything. I didn't see him tap out. I can't call the match. As Dave goes to check on Josh, Drew hits Brandon from behind, gets the pin, and Dave counts 3.
New champ.
Champ. Until Josh gets up. Josh finally starts coming to, climbs up with the assistance of the ropes. He's hanging on to the top rope. He says, no, you can't have that. Drew headbutted me, knocking me out. That's a disqualification. Drew has been disqualified, and your winner and still champion, Brandon Day. So we give the belt to Brandon. Post-match, Drew beats down Brandon. Just absolutely beats him down. Chairs on chairs on chairs. Gets him ringside, drops him on the ground, just goes to town. Probably a good 4 or 5 chairs broken, at least. And picks up the title, tells Ryan to announce him as FWF champion, and walks out.
Okay. Well, obviously, for anybody that may not be familiar with the rules, like, obviously Drew's not the heavyweight champion. Brandon Day still is. So,
yep. Due to disqualification, you cannot lose your
correct,
belt.
unless it's, a stipulation.
Yeah. Right.
So overall, decent show, sounds like. Crowd into it all night long, I take it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course, as always, they were 1,000% behind Kong, but the fans were behind this match from start to finish, or the show, I should say. Thinking back, I think I heard the loudest pop for Scott Alexander I've ever heard, and I think it was because he was taking on Paradise. The fans were completely behind Alexander to win this and booed Paradise right out of the arena when he was done.
Okay. Well, and then I did see you and Scott Alexander had a little bit, or I'm sorry, Rip Ryerson and Scott Alexander had a little bit of an altercation outside. So you want to fill us in on what's going on there?
Well, yeah, that wasn't a win. I mean, okay, technically winning by disqualification is a win. And somehow the higher-ups who book everything claim it as a win. So they're going to give him a cruiserweight title shot at Rampage, FWF Rampage, not AEW, just so we're clear there, on January 28th.
Okay, and who's the current cruiserweight champ?
The current cruiserweight champion is Dios Salvador.
Okay.
So we'll see those two go one-on-one for the cruiserweight championship at FWF Rampage.
Yeah, it's something worth noting. There is no J-Rock on this show.
No J-Rock on this show. Have seen him on the poster for
Oh,
Rampage.
okay. Okay.
So be interesting to see where that goes. Always interested to see what J-Rock's doing or, what he's not doing. But yeah, Alexander, he lost his contract to FWF at one point, so I went and got him a contract back, and so he kind of owes this to me, and it's not a win. Rip's not counting that as a win.
I mean, was his hand raised?
Not really.
Did the bell ring?
The bell
Was
did
he
ring.
announced the winner?
He was.
There you go. It's a win.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's all the fight he's going to put in, then 2023 is going to be a long year for him.
Oh, and I've been in the ring with him too. Again, down a little sidetrack here. Part of the reason why any show that's run at the park in Bourbon has to stay in the building is because me and Scott Alexander went over to the splash pad for part of our match, and the cops were called. So now the people that run the pavilion there in Bourbon have made it very clear that the action is to stay inside the building. So for anybody that may be watching this that ever, wrestles in Bourbon, I apologize. I was just doing what had been done in the past. I wanted to carry on that tradition of using the splash pad in a match. So yeah, sorry.
Hey, there's still plenty of things to do inside that pavilion.
Oh yeah, definitely. So moving on a little bit, Melissa was supposed to give me the results for RCW, but she has not done so. Melissa Day, the boss, Luckily, though, they are posted on their Facebook page.
Okay.
So it looks like Alex Van Zant beat Logan Myers. I'm assuming that was going to be a good match. Loud and proud Logan Myers. Like I don't know if you've seen him work or not, but he's definitely got some talent. He's a Jake Omen guy, so of course Jake has nothing but respect from me. So anytime one of his trainees is in the ring, I'm gonna pay attention.
Oh yeah.
Second match on the card was Daniel Stark versus Dutch Boy Platinum versus Jorge Bravo in a triple threat. Daniel Stark won by submission. I saw a clip of it on Instagram. Looked like he was using like a Texas Cloverleaf. So, new submission move for him. Cool. Good job. Spark of Madness beat Just Business by DQ. So, the still RCW Tag Team Champions, Just Business. Spark of Madness, I believe, is Sean Sparks and Travesty.
Yes.
Okay. Did I say that right? Is it Travesty or?
I think that's how it's pronounced.
Okay. As far as Just Business goes, I apologize, guys. I don't know who you are.
I know one half of them is Richard Wright.
Okay. I also know they're accompanied to the ring by, I believe, she calls herself Jackie Jester.
Yes.
Okay. Next on the match, what I thought, because shout out to Mike Richardson, by the way, because he posted pictures like almost immediately after the show last night. So of course I know Mike's an RCW guy, so anytime there's an RCW show and I want to know what's going on, I just stalk his Facebook page. Brutus Dillon, jeez, he's gonna hurt me for butchering that. Brutus Dillon beat Douglas Stout in a no DQ match. Not really sure what's going on there. Last I knew, Brutus was a part of Douglas Stout's little group. I guess I should read this beginning part here. Oh, okay. So, breathing a little heavy there, sir.
Oh. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good. I just happened to breathe right into the microphone.
So, the show started off with the recently crowned heavyweight champion Kevin Storm coming out to address the fans. Blake Money Wright came out and challenged Kevin Storm.
Yeah.
Okay, so And then Brutus Dillon came out. Okay, so the Awakening came out, and we're gonna beat up Kevin Storm basically. And then Brutus Dillon came out and called everybody off, which led to the setup of the match between Brutus Dillon and Douglas Stout. So back to that. Brutus Dillon beat Douglas Stout in a no DQ match. Douglas Stout's probably feeling it in his chest today. Them big frying pan hands.
Oh yeah.
Josh Crane beat Mickey Midas. I know who Josh Crane is. Mickey, I'm sorry. I don't know who you are. I need to get out more. I apologize. Tony Thunder, the I don't know, something about looking fly and stuff like that. Tony Thunder, he's my boy. Like, Tony and I go way back. He beat Bacchus, Backus. I'm really hoping you're not a Brackus ripoff. Like, Theo Storm beat Letter Rip to retain. I forget what title. I know Theo's a champion. It just doesn't have the title name listed. I want to say it's like their
No Limits champion.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm glad you.
I found you're reading the results. I'm following along.
Gotcha. Kevin Storm beat Blake Wright to retain the RCW heavyweight title. So, all right. Good job, Kevin. Let's see. After the match, Blake attacked Kevin. Brutus Dillon came out and ran off Blake and challenged him to a Falls Count Anywhere match for February 18th. So it looks like RCW's next show will be called. What's FWF's next show called?
Rampage.
RCW's next show, which is on February 18th, is called Redemption.
Yes.
So, let's see. Goodson Center, for those that don't know where that's at, it's at 1905 Goodson Court in South Bend, Indiana. Doors open at 6:30 p.m., bell time 7:30. Tickets for front row, $25, general admission, $15. So, looks like they're going to have a lot of titles on the line there. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, so I'll let them see it on their own. Anyways, that was RCW. So we should probably talk about what we're going to be doing going forward.
Yeah.
As I said at the beginning, that we're both kind of learning on the fly. Paul does the Kicking Out podcast.
Kicking Out podcast.
Sorry. For some reason, I wanted to say Kick Out It too, but
well, that's kind of where it came from.
So, Paul obviously already does a podcast. Excuse me. Sorry. I've been drinking, cherry Coke this morning, so I'm a little gassy. This is obviously my first podcast, so as we get going, we'll get better. But I think for now, we don't really have anything else to discuss, so we might just go ahead and wrap this one up a little earlier than normal. We're at 38 minutes. I think that's a good time for the first one. I mean, what do you think?
Oh yeah. I mean, it took us probably close to a year of Kicking Out podcasts before we really started going over an hour. We were struggling there for a while to get it over 45 minutes, and now we've added and we've got some banter going back and forth, and now we're close to 2 hours some nights. But yeah, it just takes time. You got to grow and get used to what you're kind of doing, and as things start to become more natural, we'll probably be on here for 2 hours at least. Okay.
I do know I've had a couple guys that I've already reached out to, Fireball, Ryan Paradise, Congo Kong. I haven't reached out to Rush yet, but I'm going to. Rush Jones, as far as bringing him on as a guest to do an interview with. So
absolutely,
those are possibilities in the future. But for now, is there anything you'd like to add in closing, Paul?
Subscribe to Cletus Farmer's YouTube channel. Keep up with what's going on with the Take It Home podcast, and give us some good ratings.
Yes, definitely.
And give us good feedback. You got to give us that feedback. Let us know what we need to work on. Let us know what you want us to cover, and reach out. Don't be afraid to say hi, and keep taking us home.
Okay, definitely. So with that being said, Adam Nielsen, Melissa Day, Brian Johnson, Eric King. If you want us to review your shows, you got to hit us up. Send us that schedule. We'll make the arrangements to have somebody there. I'm not saying give me a free ticket. Not saying that at all. I'm just saying if we have the schedules ahead of time, we can make the arrangements to have your show covered on the podcast. Just like Paul said, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. Even if it's, hey, that shirt's too bright, don't wear it anymore. It's feedback. So, for Paul Zartman, I am Cletus Farmer. Until next time, we're taking it home.